too. Get started with Chet, though. You guys can start with Chet.
Chet, this was you guys' first time seeing this version of them. What'd you think? And after kind of the 48 minutes, what do you think will be critical a couple days from now?
Yeah, obviously good team with really good players, well coached. They really know their play style and what they want to do, and they did a good job of getting to it tonight. And we have to look at the tape, make some adjustments, and be better for next time.
Dub, before the game, Coach Reddick was saying that they knew that to have a chance, they'd have to really lay the first punch and be the aggressors from the start. What kind of impact did you feel like that had in the game, just those opening minutes and the way that they were able to be aggressive and physical?
Yeah, they did a good job. That's like usually teams' game plan against us. Obviously, if you start out slow against us, like just track record-wise, it's probably not good. So they did a good job of that. But some of that's like us trying to like do stuff defensively and like scheme a little bit. And you kind of got to take those with you in like the pursuit of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So we'll be better. We're still trying to figure out what we want to do and all that other stuff. So, but yeah, you got to give credit to them too. They shot the ball really well early too, and just for the game.
Yeah, Shai was just in here, and he got asked about the kind of human nature involved in not just this game, but maybe the past couple. And he was saying that the challenge is to make sure that you guys stay focused and continue to play with the urgency you've had all year. Where does that challenge lie for you, and why do you feel like that urgency has maybe kind of gone away in these past two games?
I feel like human nature, like there's just like, bro, we're like 13. How many games ahead are we?
We are 13.
Like human nature, that just doesn't happen. So like human nature is to like relax, and that's something that we just fight as a team. I wouldn't even say that that's what we've been thinking about, going into these games. It's just like you play so many games that you're gonna have games like that, and we've been so good throughout the year. When we have games like that, finally, it's like it's just obviously gets blown up because there's so little amounts of games that we have like that. So I think that's more what it is, and we'll be able to refocus and figure it out. We still have like 4 or 5 games left in the season to lock back in. So.
And so is the goal to find that again before the regular season ends?
I don't know about find it again. It's not lost. I think it's just more trying to figure out what we want to do and not panic.
Yeah, guys, Mark suggested that maybe you didn't play with enough speed on all the different elements of the game. What can you do to play with more speed, use your advantage, that's one of your physical advantages against this Laker team?
You want that one, or?
Get stops. Hard to play fast if you're not getting stops. You got it.
Yeah, I was just going to say basically that. One, you have to have an attention to, really be thinking, play fast, get the ball up the floor, move it quick. But at the end of the day, you can't do that if you got to take the ball out every time. So we got to get stops, get rebounds, so we can get out and play.
Chet, with these double big lineups, I think traditionally with basketball, the big is usually the guy communicating on the back line. How has that sort of changed with you playing the four more? Is there any clash between you guys talking over each other? And then also with the double bigs, you guys are both natural rim protectors. You're not chasing blocks, but how do you sort of, fight off that instinct of you guys both going for the same block when, one needs to rebound?
I'd say there is no such thing as talking over each other. The louder the better out there, the more communication the better. I'd rather have both of us trying to block a shot than neither of us and just giving up a layup. But, it is a situation where we do have to communicate and try to cover all bases. Because like you said, if we both go, then we're down on the glass. If you go when you're not supposed to, then you give up easy passes to the backside. So it's just reading the game, taking what the game gives you, and then trying to make the right reads out of that.
Did they the officiating? You only shot 12 free throws. And I know that's been an issue for you guys all season. You only got you as a team shot 12 free throws.
Shot 8. Did you not?
Well, as a
7 for 8?
team, you only shot 12. I guess
Dang, wow.
they shot only 17. Was it kind of a playoff officiating
shot how many?
game? Or 17. They shot 17.
I don't know.
So I guess, how was the game called? Was it won't call like a playoff game? Or
I'm
just-
not going to answer that question. That's going to result in a fine, so you got it.
I mean, I feel like they let us play for the most part. I'd say most of the fouls were called on the ground, like blocking or kind of away from the handler fouls. But I don't know. I hate coming in here and sitting
Talking
here
about
and
it, yeah.
talking
No
about the
point.
refs, because at the end of the day, no matter how good or bad the refs are, if you lost the game, you lost the game. You know what I'm saying? So never
We
to
lose
come
by
in here.
25, 26. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like controllables, and the free
Yeah.
throws are close, like you're saying. So
Yeah, I feel like it would be embarrassing to come in here after losing
No,
by
no,
20
it's- I mean, no,
and
I'm just
saying
saying
it was
about the
physical to
refs.
answer your question.
Yeah,
though. It was a
seemed like
physical game.
There
Yeah.
was not a lot of fouls called.
No,
Yeah,
it was physical. Yeah, that's how teams come in here and like play with us, especially because like coming down to the wire, they're going to measure themselves up against us to get ready, just like we are. So these games are going to be more and more physical, and I think the officials are trying to like let us play more.
Prior to him being the coach with the Lakers, you both went on JJ's pod. I just wanted to get your guys' impression of like actually going against him in a game as a head coach.
I'm happy for him getting the coaching job, and he's a good basketball mind. I think he's a good coach for them. So, and I'm appreciative of the pod too. Just I feel like that brought me a lot of attention. Was that last year? Yeah, I just think that brought a lot of like good attention of me playing well last year. So, you know what?
I was never on the pod. I was going to at some point, but then he got a coaching job. But I think he's smart. He knew what he was doing with the pod. He was basically using that as study hall for being a coach. He was talking to all the coaches, all the players, and using that as a way to get to everybody. And then he took that knowledge, and now he's coaching. From playing against him, you can tell he's a good coach, good X's and O's, makes adjustments. So credit to him. And from what I've heard, he's a good dude too. So I haven't had too many individual interactions with him though.
Anybody else? Thanks, guys.
Shai, seemed like just not you guys' A game tonight. Did you feel like it was more of a execution thing, energy thing? What'd you feel out there on the floor?
Both. Everything. We didn't do anything to deserve a win tonight. And they're a really good basketball team. So when you don't do the right things and you're playing a really good team, that's what it looks like.
It's your first time seeing them since their trade, and I just wonder, anything that stood out to you about the way that they're playing that's going to be a prime focus for a couple days from now?
Yeah. Obviously, with the adding of Luka and the, I guess, subtractive AD, like their attack becomes more perimeter and less interior, and that's like the difference in their attack. Defensively, AD used to switch a lot too, but it's like defensively they've always been good, but their attack offensively is like more perimeter and space out as opposed to interior posting and stuff like that.
Sure. Mark was just in here saying that, to beat a team like that, you have to play with more pace, more speed. Why do you feel like you guys maybe lacked that pace and that speed, and where are you supposed to generate that
Yeah,
from?
they were scoring every time down, and it's no transition fast break if they score every time down. So I think they had like 70-something in the first half, and it's hard to get out ahead of them. When they put the ball in the basket, you got to run underneath and take it out every play. So, yeah, it's no pace when you can't get a stop.
And I know you mentioned now with Luka's new surroundings, it's more like perimeter oriented. Do you feel like his new personnel, the pieces around him, kind of make him harder to defend than when he was in Dallas? And I guess what has to change with the approach in terms of defending him?
Same guy. Really talented, smart basketball player. Will pick you apart if you let him. It didn't feel like a different guy. I felt like the same Luka Doncic, good basketball player.
Yeah, Shai, with the new scheduling format where you occasionally have consecutive games in the same place against the same team, after a game like this, does that make Tuesday night not more important, but good for you guys that, hey, we can get right back in and see how we can correct the things that went wrong today?
Yeah, absolutely. Every night you go out there and you test yourself, and after tonight or after today, the next game should definitely give us a little added motivation for sure. For sure.
From top to bottom, like the 0-0 mindset's been something from Mark, you guys everywhere. Is that a little bit tougher to maintain later in the season whenever the playoffs are right around the corner and it's not like, game 30 or something like that where you can just look to the next game like it's really, really close?
I think naturally, naturally, not to make it an excuse, but whether we win or lose, our standing won't change. So naturally it's gonna slip in. Now the challenge for every team is different, and the challenge is for us to make sure that we stay focused and continue to play with that sense of urgency, and we have in the last 2 nights, and we've gotten our butts whipped because of it. But every team has a challenge at some point. That's our challenge, and the Lakers are fighting for a spot. That's their challenge. Every team has a challenge, and they have to hit it head on, and they hit theirs head on tonight, and we didn't, and we got beat up for it because of it.
Did it feel like you guys kind of were easing into the game defensively? You didn't really come out with that, I guess you call it urgency or whatever, and they were hitting shots. You both kind of trading buckets for it, but they just kept going, and you kind of cooled off a little bit. Was that just defensively? You guys didn't have that energy early?
Yeah, I don't know if it was, I don't know exactly what it was. Just being in the midst of it, going back and watching it, I'll be able to tell more. But it was it felt like it was a mixture of energy, focus, focus on the game plan and what we're trying to get done. Imposing our will defensively. They got whatever they wanted. They had 40-something points in the first quarter, and if they do that every quarter, they whoop us. So defensively we did not get the job done from start to finish. So, and that's never a recipe to win.
Your last 3 losses, one of the common themes has just been other teams just really scorching from 3. Mark has talked about, in, I think, a game in San Antonio that one of the assistants said, we can't overreact, but we need to react at some point. What are you seeing on this end of just, the other teams when they're catching fire like that from 3? Is it more of, a shooting anomaly, or are you seeing something specifically that they're getting at?
Yeah, for me, I don't... For me, it's about it's not about makes and misses. It's about are they getting the shots they want, or are we making them take the shots that we want them to take? And it's the same thing offensively. Offensively, it's not am I making shots? Am I making shots that are sustainable for us to win tonight over a long period of time? And defensively, you try to do the same thing. This is the best players. These are the best players in the world, and they're gonna make insane shots that they probably shouldn't make because they're the best players in the world. And you can't overreact to those. Now you do need to get the things into the game and make sure that they're taking shots that you want them to take, and that that help you win the game. So I don't ever focus on makes and misses. Is that the shot we want them to take? So that's more it's never oh, they were hot tonight. You know what I mean? If they were 100% on the shots that we want them to take, then we take the loss, and I tip my hat, and that's it.
Shai, no free throw attempts in this one. What do you think led to that in this game, and what can you do to change that for Tuesday night?
I don't know. I didn't get fouled. I don't know. And I don't think that necessarily needs to change. I don't know how many I had tonight, but I felt good offensively. Yeah, I don't think we lost because I didn't shoot free throws. So, and I'm all about trying to win. So I don't think that necessarily needs to change. We need to play defense for sure next game if we want to win.
People listen to this, they want to know you haven't had I don't think any night like this season. Mm-hmm. What's the mood in the locker room?
We're fine. We've gotten this far because we've stayed level, and we see the bigger picture. We understand that it's never always going to be sunshine and rainbows, and that's just like how the game goes, how life goes. Like, no matter what, it's ups and downs, and we've ended a game and been ecstatic, and ended a game and haven't been too pleased with ourselves. But regardless, we're gonna have to wake up tomorrow and do the same thing. Like, we're gonna have practice. We're gonna have things we try to get better at, and we're gonna try to go out the next night and try to be better. And that's what we focus on. We don't focus on the wins and losses now. A lot of times the losses show you more than the wins, and that's what we'll continue to do. We'll learn from the losses, but same group of guys.
Anybody else? We'll go last one to Joel.
So, Shai, then I am curious, like, what lens are you meant to view this game through, knowing that, you guys have locked up the first seed for several weeks?
Say again, sorry?
Yeah, what lens are you meant to view this game through, considering what you just said, and that, the fact you guys have been the first seed and that's been locked up, but this is obviously like a potential playoff opponent, and maybe they, value this game. Like, how are you supposed to view this game then, considering what you just said?
How am I supposed to view this game? Like after or before it, you talking about?
Either way, both.
Just like any other game, I think. Like, you have a really good team coming in here, and you get a chance to test yourself against a really good team. And wherever you are in the season, in the standings, when a chance to test yourself is a chance to test yourself, and that's what you play for, and that's what I guess I viewed the game as before and after. Now, obviously, we failed the test, but that's what it was, and that's what I guess I see it as.
Thank you, Shai.
Did that answer your question?
All right, Shai.
Mark, before the game, J.J. Redick said that they knew that they were going to have to lay the first punch here to have a chance in this building against you guys. What did you make of kind of the opening of the game and the way that they were able to play with force?
Yeah, I thought they definitely did that. I thought they were the more forceful, focused team. I thought our attacks early were pretty good offensively, but certainly they were super sharp and ready to play, and they played all 48 minutes. They did a really good job. They came in here, obviously beat us box to wire, so good lesson for us. I mean, things we can look at and learn from, but credit them. They were a much better team today.
Defensively, seemed like you guys did a few different things out there, trapped and switched some. How valuable, just given this is the first time that you've seen this iteration of them, is it to just try some of your different coverages against that group?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's nothing we haven't done all season, and we mix that into every opponent. I didn't think it was necessarily seeing different looks against them. I thought fundamentally today we just weren't nearly as sharp as we needed to be, and that's the lesson more so than the schemes.
Mark, the other night in Houston, Alex was just mentioning that the start of that game that human nature probably crept in some there. The fact that you guys have locked up the first seed for a few weeks now. How much do you feel that's maybe contributed to these two first halves, these past two games?
I mean, I try not to make assumptions on anything, so I understand the question, and when we play like that, we open ourselves up to having to answer that question, but I don't make assumptions about it. I just know how we need to play to be our best. We weren't that today, and we got to tap back into that, if we want to continue to improve.
And then obviously, Luka alone is a thing, and LeBron himself is a thing, but those two on the floor together, how would you feel your defense measured up with that, and do you feel like the quality of contests throughout the night was there that you would like?
I thought, they were 10 for 12 in their first 12 threes, I think, and they were really hot in the first half, and if you leave someone alone in the gym, they usually don't shoot that well from three. So there's a shot-making element, but I also think there's a focus element that we were lacking in the game, so they made some shots in the first half, but there's also stuff that we definitely could have controlled that we didn't, and that definitely had an influence as well.
As I want to ask, did you think you didn't have that bite defensively to start the game off, just kind of aggressiveness?
Yeah, I think that'd be fair. I didn't think we had that much of the day. And I thought we were ready to play. I thought the guys were excited to play, but I just didn't think we had the combination of focus, effort, execution that you need to beat a good team, especially the way they played today.
Lucas had some rough games, so you probably knew he was going to have a good game, but he didn't pick up his first foul till like late in the game. Was that any indication maybe you didn't go at him enough, maybe to make him guard, kind of take some away from him?
I mean, you can go at them, but the thing about going at those guys is their teams are so used to them being hunted like that you almost put them in a defensive rhythm if you just do that repeatedly over and over and over again. So, we definitely can go at them some, but our issues offensively today, I didn't think were necessarily matchup related. I thought, just overall, we didn't play sharp enough on either end of the floor, offense as well as defense.
You've talked before about having like cost-benefit rewards for different lineups. With the double bigs, it's obviously helped you guys with interior defense and rebounding. Do you think it's impacted at all your guys' ability to sort of scramble and run out to three-point shooters?
To a degree, our closing speed isn't what it is when we're small, but our rim protection's better. And every lineup has trade-offs, and we have to continue to try to understand the lineups and what they bring to the table, understand the trade-offs, and then we can best apply them in different contexts as we move forward, especially into the playoffs. So it's a data point, but it has strengths. It's been really good for us. Today, none of our lineups were great. So,
Coach Chet had a bit of a quiet night despite going 4 for 6 from the floor. What do you think led to that, and how can you sort of get him more included into the offense moving forward?
I just think everybody's going to play. I think we scored 99 points. I don't know how many times this year we've scored less than 100. But, offensively, when we don't create the kind of flow and we don't execute the fundamentals the way that we need to, it's going to be hard for everybody. I don't think anybody had an easy day offensively today, including Chet. So I thought that was more a reflection of how the team played and less individual to one guy.
Anybody else? We can go to Barry now. Just right to Barry, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, the Lakers, when they made the trade, left a fairly good hole in the middle. People said they're not going to be able to do it. But it looks like they've compensated because they're big almost everywhere else. How much does that factor how you guys played in general today, just their overall positional size?
Yeah, I mean, they've got good size at every spot, all over the floor. They're smart, good in their schemes. And so I think you need to beat them with a little bit more speed than we played with today. And so I just thought they were the faster team on offense than we were. They were sharper than we were. They executed better. That's why they won the way they did. They deserved to win.
Anybody else?
You want to see more in transition? Do you want to see quicker decisions? Like when you refer to speed, what did you want to see?
Every facet, up the floor, in the half court. Just they played with much better pace than we did today, with movement of the ball, movement of bodies, up the floor. They were just the faster, sharper team.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.